That's wild.
Angola was always at the very top of my bucket list because of its history, especially its War of Independence. For many years, it was actually one of the most difficult countries in the world to visit in terms of getting a visa. However, on a recent trip to Capo Verde, I met Miguel, who was from Angola. Hearing him talk about his homeland motivated me even more to finally visit and explore the history, the nature, the food, and the overall vibe of one of Africa's most unique countries.
Hi, this is Hamad and welcome to Final 50, where I traveled to the last 50 countries on Earth. And on this journey, we are in the country of Angola, checking out all the monuments, all the history, all the vibes, all the nature. So let's go see what this country has on offer. Finally landed.
Angola is the 7th largest country in Africa, which is roughly twice the size of France. It is bordered by the DRC to the north, Zambia to the east, Namibia to the south, and uniquely the Republic of Congo through an enclave bordering both countries. We will actually get more into that geographic quirk on my behind-the-scenes video, so make sure to tune in for that. Now, the capital, Luanda, is the largest city with almost a quarter of the entire population living right there in its city limits. Given my tight time restriction, I decided to stay in Luanda for the whole trip with Miguel's cousin, Kenny. As soon as I landed, Kenny took me to explore downtown Luanda. Driving and walking around, I was immediately struck by the sheer contrast between the affluent and the indigent, between the old and the new, between the war-torn and the modern. There is so much to take in and absorb in this capital that has experienced such seismic changes over the years. Remember, Angola went through centuries of slavery, 13-year war of independence from the Portuguese, and a 27-year devastating civil war between different factions. But then diamonds and oil were discovered, and the exploration boom sent the country into a wild period of economic development. And you can see that visual contrast everywhere you look. More on this later.
Okay, so right now we're walking down the 4th of February Avenue. What's called like Marginal or something like that. And it's really cool. You can see the sunset behind us. Really, really beautiful. And the area seems really kind of like perfect for walking and running. I think I'm gonna have to come back here and do some running because it's just like, they're saying it's kind of modeled on the kind of Copacabana, long bord de mer, like the Corniche, where people can just kind of chill and walk and relax, but absolutely gorgeous. Super lucky that these guys, Amy and Kenny, are taking me around to show me Luanda safely and to see as much as I possibly can in the time I have. And they brought me to this restaurant because it's meant to be one of the best for this meal. So let's try it out.
Okay, there we go.
So this is Mwamba de Galinha, which is made of peanut sauce and chicken. And this is a cassava bread kind of broken down into a kind of pudding of sorts. We eat these together with this spicy sauce, and this is the national dish. Oh, that's so good. Wow.
Christian arrived.
Delicious. Really, really good. Wow.
Kenny's family and friends truly welcomed me with open arms. That first night, I learned so much about the history and the incredible potential of the country. Honestly, there is nothing quite like meeting locals to show you their world. And when I saw the view from their building, it was amazing to see how developed Luanda was compared to other capitals I had visited on the continent.
Bro, thanks so much for hooking it all up, man. These people are phenomenal. Like, such good folks. We have such a cool game plan. This guy is aces. Kenny's killing it. He's learning English. I'm learning Portuguese.
At this point, I was completely exhausted from all the travel, so I really wanted to get some rest that night because I was super amped up to keep exploring the capital, learning more about its contrasts, and getting a taste for what was on offer outside of Luanda.
All right, so Angola is one of the biggest producers of oil in Africa. I think either on par with or maybe even more than Nigeria. And behind us is the first building of Sonangol, the company that pretty much runs and operates and manages all the oil in the country. And right behind me now is the new building. So you can tell that it's significantly expanded. And this is probably the biggest source of revenue for the country along with diamonds, which is why we're seeing all of this crazy transformation in the city of Luanda with all these incredible skyscrapers that they're building everywhere. You just wouldn't imagine it, but you can see how much the country has transformed from this little guy to this guy, almost kind of like a personification for how much the country itself has grown over time. So this is a monument for the unknown soldier from the period of the Civil War. Between 1961 and 1975, there was the war against the Portuguese for liberation. But when they finally gained independence in 1975, there arose a series of factions between three parties. But in 92, they finally agreed to a multi-party election. In 92, though, when the multi-party election happened, the MPLA prevailed, and the other ones felt that they got snubbed and it wasn't fair, and so the Civil War again gained more and more traction. They waited another 10 years until 2002 when the main party leader of one of the opposition parties was killed, Savimbi, and when that happened, finally it kind of broke the back of the whole Civil War and peace was brought about. Regardless, the country was set back so many decades because of that. And thankfully, because of oil boom that we've seen in the last 20, 25 years, diamond trading and other resources, this country has definitely surged. And a lot of people have been enriched, but there's still massive inequities that exist. And behind me is a building from probably the 1950s and 60s. And you can see the bullet holes on the top, and that really came about from the 1990s. So you can still see the kind of trauma from then.
Out of nowhere, Kenny suggested that we go explore the Angola Science Center. Now, to be honest, I couldn't really push back. Not only because he was being such a gracious host, but also because he didn't speak a word of English. We literally communicated for the entire trip using Google Translate. But the man's a genius. And throughout the visit, I learned so much, not just about Angola's dynamic economy, but also its cultural traditions and the country's historic luminaries, and so much more right there at that science center.
Go check out a science museum. I haven't been to one of these in a minute. Velociraptor. Triceratops, Stegosaurus, I think. Yep. T-Rex with a saddle on his back. I think a kid can ride it. And like I was saying, the second biggest industry here in Angola after oil is diamonds. And over there you can see some incredibly huge carat diamonds. Like unreal sizes. Like 227 carats. That's wild. Wow. So what you have here on the flag, the red represents the struggle, the blood of the people. The black, the African continent. The yellow star, a symbol of unity across the world. the cog for industry, and finally the machete for the agricultural workers and the peasants.
We then decided to take a little bit of a detour into Angola's past when we went to explore the old fort right there in the middle of the capital. It was originally used by the Portuguese and then passed on to the Angolan government when they gained independence. Remember when I mentioned the Civil War? Well, it was a major proxy conflict of the Cold War, fought between Soviet-supported socialists and Western-backed factions. I got to see that history up close and personal right there in the fort.
All right, so we're in the fort of São Miguel, right here kind of in the middle of Luanda. And it was built in the 1500s, like 1570s by the Portuguese who came to occupy this area as colonial power. And it's got an incredible vantage point overlooking the Luanda Bay and other parts of Luanda. But really, really beautiful. They expanded it over time, and then eventually it became the armed museum for the country, for the different struggles they had, whether it was from during the colonial period, the world wars, the War of Independence, or the Civil War that they recently had. So really well preserved, beautiful vantage point that you can see the city from all angles. Definitely worth checking out when you come here. And so you can see behind me that Angola for the longest time, from the 60s, 70s, probably up to early 90s, was essentially a communist or Marxist country. And then they switched over to more of a Western style market economy and what we have now. But you can see behind there, they have murals of the different eras of Angolan history as well. Really beautiful. Beautiful landmark over here that's on the top of the city.
After exploring the fort and the palace, we decided to take our first trip outside the main city center. We headed to a nearby market for some Angolan souvenirs, and then visited a museum dedicated to the country's tragic history of slavery.
All right, so this is the artisanal market. About 20 plus kilometers outside the city. It's quiet, it's not too loud, and it's not crowded, which is great. And I can breathe here. In Luanda, it gets a little bit polluted, a little bit overwhelming, but on this side, about 20 kilometers out, on the road down towards the national park, it's quite nice. But you get all kinds of stuff here. Beautiful, beautiful paintings, traditional clothes, dresses, some really cool stuff to check out. So definitely make it out there. Had to do some hardcore negotiating with these guys, but pretty chill. We got some cool stuff. Happy with that. Really cool. Definitely recommend if you come out here, check out this artisanal market. It is really worth it. The slave trade started around the 1500s, and it really kind of reached a peak around the 1700s, and then slowly started to kind of wind down in the 1800s. And it's so tragic because the Europeans didn't really want to trade as much with almost anything but slavery, because they wanted slaves for their overseas colonies, for even other parts of Africa that they were taking slaves to kind of develop. In Sao Tome, they were taking slaves from Angola. In Brazil, they were taking slaves from Angola. And it's so sad because even within their own people, they were, buying and selling captives. And again, they wanted to diversify outside of that as a source of income. They wanted people, they wanted slaves to perpetuate the slave flourishing trade that they were using for goods in other countries, as in sugar and cotton and cacao and all these other cash crops. So depressing. And thankfully, it finally ended, I think, around 1860s around the world. So just a really sad era of history, depressing. Almost 15 million people over that period of time just being sent across the world.
While we were still in the capital, Kenny wanted to show me the Iron Palace. The building was incredible, had such a mysterious past, and it was one of those places I just had to see for myself to believe it.
Okay, so this is the Iron Palace. And what's super cool about this is they say it was someone from Gustav Eiffel's workshop, or even him, that built all this metal stuff and was shipping it to another location from France. I believe it was somewhere else in Africa, but the ship ran aground, and the Portuguese colonists here, the governor, took all of this for himself and then recreated the palace right here, because it was kind of split into parts, and those parts could be assembled into a structure. I saw this in Cambodia on the King's Palace. They have that also, like a building that's from metal, that's like a palace kind of, and they reconstructed it. So really, really cool building, and it fell to complete disrepair during the Civil War. But then afterwards, they reconstructed it and painted it, and now, well, it's a place for the arts, kind of like a palace of the arts, where they have music festivals and, well, not surprising, shows just like this.
Now, we wrapped up the day with dinner in one of the more popular local restaurants, which is known for serving delicious mufiti, a traditional Angolan way of preparing fish.
Very good. Chili sauce, beans. What is this again?
Farinha museque.
Farinha museque e mufeti.
But then something incredible happened, something I totally did not expect. While we were eating, a local musician came in to entertain the guests, and one of the patrons asked him to play the song Angola País Novo. For whatever reason, it really struck a chord with me. He played it so beautifully, so melodically, and while I could only make out a few of the words, seeing the joy and the raw emotions of everyone singing along showed me just how deeply important nationalism is to the Angolan people. It immediately reminded me of Cesario Avora's famous song Angola from Capo Verde when I visited the former Portuguese island. My own emotions were running high, so I just had to record the young man's version of the song to play it for you here. You can tell how much Angolans have gone through, and yet how much hope they have for their future, just by listening to the lyrics of that song. I will speak of the lands of glories, our Angola of many memories. I will speak of a people who wanted to finally be happy now.
Angola de muitas memórias, vou falar de povo que quis, finalmente agora feliz. Vou falar dessa terra que glória, nossa Angola de muitas memórias. Vou falar de povo que quis, finalmente agora feliz. Como trago uma nova terra, Angola sem guerra. Angola do meu coração, Angolê não se deixa, não vacila a orelha da minha tua mão, para juntos comigo combate, nossa Angola junto levantar. Angola do meu coração. Vou falar do artista sofrido que pintou 30 anos de guerra. Finalmente hoje tem a honra de pintar lá no campo do pai. Vou falar desse destaque, mano, o golaço do nosso Angola. Mano, brincadeira nenhuma, paz e alegria aqui muda. Com palavras sei que vivou nas cenas de uma vida melhor. Olha, nosso povo se espera, o meu povo se espera. Vou falar do meu povo de novo, esquecendo esse craque saiu. Vou falar dos palancas negras, os elefantes do meu coração.
The reality was I had originally planned to stay in Angola long enough to go out and explore the fabled Calandula Falls and the Black Stones Canyon. But because my flight out of Sao Tome was cancelled, I had to scramble just to see a little bit of the nature this incredible country has to offer. So on my last day, Kenny and I set out to the Kwazami National Park, located a few hours outside the city. Now bear in mind, this park is absolutely massive. It is almost 4,000 square miles, which is 3 times the size of the US state Rhode Island. But we were only going to see a tiny portion of it that day. Still, it was entirely worth it to get a taste of Angola's wildlife.
So over there in the distance is Luanda. And these are baobab trees, and over there is a baobab park. I love this tree because it really shows the endurance of Africa, the fact that it can survive in like desert climates, and it still bears a certain fruit that you can see kind of hanging from the tree called the mukau. That's kind of like a bitterish fruit that they can eat as well. It's super cool.
On the way back, we stopped by the Miradura do Lua, which reminded me so much of Aksa Canyon that I saw back in Kyrgyzstan.
This place is called the Viewpoint of the Moon, La Mirador da Lua, or I guess Luna in Spanish or Lua in Portuguese. But doesn't it give you that Kyrgyzstan vibes of that crazy canyon that we went to, or even in Turkmenistan and the other canyon? So beautiful. The orange colored mud going into like the more tan white colored mud and seeing how it's eroded over time. Just absolutely stunning place.
After we explored that, Kenny had one last surprise for me, an island to visit off the coast of Luanda. It was a classic weekend getaway used by Luandans to escape the hustle and bustle of the city.
Pure and utter chaos. Chaos. And God, this guy's speaking with them. I would have lost my mind. All right, so this is an island where a lot of people come. I thought on the weekends, but a lot of them come apparently on Sundays. And it's just super chill. You can see all these really cool homes there in the background. People bring their boats, and it's probably like about a 15-minute boat ride from Luanda to this island. I think it's pronounced Muselo, something like that. But really, really cool, chill. Kind of gives me vibes of like Lido Island in Newport Beach, California, or something like that. Pretty chill. And we got this crazy DJ behind us playing the beats. Play the beat. Actually stand corrected. It's a peninsula. It's not an island, but there's probably about 20 actual islands off the coast near Luanda and that province area all around. But this one is an actual peninsula.
What a perfect way to wrap up my last day in Angola, spending it in Muselo Island. It is such a relaxing place, and it is crazy how close it is to the capital.
So this is the mukwa that grows from the baobab tree. And it's hard to describe what it tastes like. But it's meant to be good for cleansing your stomach. It tastes savory but a little bitter. Not that sweet. And it's kind of powdery and it has a seed in it. All right, country 169, Angola, here in Luanda with Kenny, who was meant to run with me today and did not, but we loved being here anyway. Right on the boardwalk, a 5-kilometer run on a hot day in beautiful Luanda.
My trip to Angola was way too short, and there is still so much left to do here. But I'm so happy I still had the chance to learn about its complex history of slavery, colonialism, communism, and eventual triumph. I loved seeing the boom in its economy, the traditions of its people, the beautiful art, the lush nature, the delicious food, and of course, meeting incredible people like Kenny, who made my journey beyond unforgettable. Obrigado, Angola. I will never forget the words of your musicians that gave me so much hope for your future.
Vou falar desse terra de glória, nossa Angola e de muitas memórias. Vou falar de pouco de ti, finalmente agora feliz. Como estamos uma nova terra, Angola sem guerra, Angola do meu coração.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this tour of the incredible country of Angola and saw how much there is to learn, how much there is to see, and truly how much there is to explore in this incredible country. Have you ever been to Angola? Please post in the comments below. I would love to learn about your own experiences. And if you like what you saw, please consider subscribing above. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Stay curious. I look forward to seeing you on my next journey.